Unless you've been living under a rock, at this point you've probably heard that the NFL's biggest superstar and the man who is widely considered to be the greatest quarterback of all time is going to be changing allegiances in 2020. Yes, Tom Brady is now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer and not a New England Patriot. It reportedly took just 90 minutes for the two parties to decide on one another, which, considering the fact that Brady spent 20 seasons playing for Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick up in Foxborough, is pretty shocking. Well, for Brady it is. On the other hand, I don't know who in their right mind would question the Buccaneers' interest in the star quarterback. After all, the Bucs franchise has the single worst all-time winning percentage in all of professional sports at .357, and coming off of a middling 7-9 season in which their quarterback, Jameis Winston, tossed a league-high 30 interceptions and lost 5 fumbles, this was exactly the kind of calculated risk that head coach Bruce Arians and his staff needed to make if they wanted to try and revitalize the franchise. Needless to say, this move has evoked all kinds of emotions, both from fans and from players around the league. But amid all the craziness, there is one big question on everybody's mind. Who will come out on top of this divorce, Brady or Belichick? This is just another iteration of the same question that has floated around the talk radio and sports debate shows for the past 2 decades. What made the Patriots dynasty so special? Was it Brady or Belichick? Well, unlike many of the all-time great hypotheticals like Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, or could Alabama beat the Cleveland Browns, we will actually get a chance to see this one play out. Now, it is important to note, obviously aging affects players significantly more than coaches, so this head-to-head matchup between Brady and Belichick isn't exactly fair, and in all likelihood it won't exist for more than a couple of years max. But still, it will be absolutely fascinating to see how this plays out. Let's take a look ahead and see if we can predict who will win more games during the 2020 NFL season. The Bucs featuring Tom Brady at quarterback, or the Patriots with whoever Belichick ends up slotting in under center. First things first, let's evaluate what Tampa Bay had in place before Tom Brady took the reins, and then try and see how the two will mesh. The Buccaneers had a rather tumultuous 2019 campaign, starting off 2-6 before charging back to 7-7, only to lose the last 2 games of the season in excruciating fashion by a total of 8 points. It was kind of the perfect microcosm for the Buccaneers season. There were plenty of highlights along the way. Wide receiver Chris Godwin had a breakout season, along with 3-time Pro Bowl wideout Mike Evans. Ronald Jones proved to be a playmaker out of the backfield, and the rest of the running back committee played well too. Even the defense, which has never been one of Coach Arians' strong suits, showed some signs of life under the leadership of defensive coordinator and former New York Jets head coach Todd Bowles. Strangely, Tampa Bay's one critical weakness, its one Achilles heel, was also the NFL's leader in passing yards, Jameis Winston. Although Winston has proved that he can make every throw under the sun at the NFL level, he has yet to show the self-control needed to not try and throw receivers open when there isn't an inch of space. Winston's fearlessness did create a number of memorable moments for the Bucs and plenty of highlights, but you simply cannot turn the ball over at the rate Winston did and expect to win games in the NFL. It's just impossible. I mean, think about it. Winston's 35 turnovers resulted in 112 points last season, and considering the Buccaneers finished with a positive point differential, that level of carelessness easily could have cost them multiple wins. Let's face it, when you are outgaining your opponents by over 50 yards a game and have the 4th-ranked offense in the league, you really should finish better than 7-9. Usually when a team with such a high-ranked offense struggles in the win column, there's a lackluster defense at fault. And while Tampa Bay's defense certainly was not the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, there was an inordinate amount of pressure put on them because of Winston's reckless playing style. If a team is ranked 15th in the NFL in yards allowed per game with 343.9, number 7 in yards per play at 5.1, and 4th in third down conversion percentage and opponent red zone scoring, there is simply no way that they should be ranked 3rd to last in the league in points allowed. But that is what happens when you have a guy that simply refuses to take care of the ball. It puts the defense in compromising situations which at a certain point are impossible to overcome, at least not with any consistency. Between a steadily improving defense and the plethora of weapons that Brady will have at his disposal, Brady and the new-look Bucs could put together a special 2020 season.
Shannon, in your opinion, can Tom Brady live up to these expectations, these runaway expectations?
No.
After all, the team's biggest weakness was at the quarterback position, specifically its former quarterback's inability to protect the ball, something that Brady has proven to be elite at. TB12 has not had an interception percentage higher than 2% in the past decade, which for someone who passes the ball at the volume he does is ridiculous. Granted, the interception rate around the league has been declining with the increased emphasis on the short to mid-range passing game, but his career mark of 1.8%, which spans back to a different era that saw interceptions thrown at a much higher rate, is still well below the league average of 2.17%. Remember how I said Winston threw 30 picks last year? Brady has thrown 29 in the past 4 seasons combined. So yeah, it's safe to assume that the Buccaneers might be able to piece together a decent season in 2020. Let's shift gears back to New England to take a look at what we can expect out of Bill Belichick, his mysterious quarterback in waiting, and the rest of the remaining Patriots. As far as Belichick is concerned, I don't anticipate seeing him deviate from much of the same gruff mad scientist sort of routine that we have grown to expect from him. There may be a brief adjustment period, but until proven otherwise, I still expect any Bill Belichick coach team to succeed on 3 primary principles. 1, limit the dumb mistakes like avoidable penalties, missed assignments, and costly turnovers. 2, no off-the-field distractions. If there is a quarterback battle going in training camp, or even if it extends to the preseason, don't expect to hear about it from Coach Belichick or any of the Patriots for that matter. 3, look for the Patriots to put an increased emphasis on taking away the opposition's best weapons. This has been a long-standing strategy for a number of great Patriots teams in the past, but with all the question marks on the offensive side of the ball, there will be an even greater focus on it this season. Obviously, a lot of the Patriots' success in 2020 will come down to the quarterback play, which as it stands has to be a massive concern, considering that the 3 quarterbacks on the Patriots roster leave much to be desired. Although Hoyer had 2 stints as a starting quarterback in 2014 with the Cleveland Browns and in 2015 with the Houston Texans, let's face it, the guy is a career backup. He can be a competent game manager and will do well to push whomever Belichick selects as the backup option, but I doubt that Bill Belichick is planning on the 34-year-old journeyman getting any significant playing time. Unfortunately for the Pats, the other 2 options aren't much better. Jared Steinem, despite having thrown just 4 passes in the NFL, Steinem is the name we keep hearing over and over when it comes to the Patriots quarterback vacancy. While he does have 1 year of learning behind the greatest to ever do it, Steinem is still a big question mark.
He impressed them during his time in practice, and now I think going into training camp, he's going to have a real chance to win that starting job and be the Patriots' opening day starting quarterback.
So it will be interesting to see how Bill Belichick manages him and really the rest of the quarterbacks as well. As far as I'm concerned, it's impossible to doubt Belichick until proven otherwise, lest we forget he won 11 games with Matt Castle as a starting quarterback after Brady tore his ACL in Week 1 during the 2008 season. If that doesn't get him the benefit of the doubt, I don't know what will. Brady was obviously the biggest name and the most shocking departure for a team that is somewhat familiar with having turnover year to year. But this offseason, the Patriots lost some of their key contributors on the defensive side of the ball, and a couple of Belichick disciples too, no less. 2 linebackers in particular stand out: Kyle Van Noy, who signed a 4-year deal worth $51 million with the Miami Dolphins to play for former Patriots assistant coach Brian Flores, and Jamie Collins, who signed a 3-year $30 million contract to go to Detroit and play for former Patriots defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. Although it may take him a little while to get all the new pieces in place, look for Belichick to plug and play his way to having a sturdy defense by the end of the season. Vegas seems to think that the 2 sides should be pretty even next year, with most books placing the Pats' win total at 9.5 and the Bucs in an even 9. Perhaps the difference can be attributed to the perceived strength of the schedule, as the Buccaneers will have the 11th toughest journey to the Super Bowl in terms of strength of schedule, while New England's is rated just 26th overall. Of course, that is all still based on last season and some of the early season acquisitions. But with the unexpectedly high number of players that have reached out to the Bucs looking for an opportunity to play with Brady, who knows what their roster will look like by the time the start of the season rolls around. When it comes down to it, I have a hard time doubting Belichick. The Patriots finished 12-4 last season, despite a subpar year from Brady and a ton of adversity surrounding the offense, which included the sudden loss of all-pro talents like Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown mid-season. Either way, this should be an NFL season for the ages. This is a storyline that comes around quite literally once in a lifetime. Who do you think will have more wins in 2020, the Patriots or the Buccaneers? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that by hitting the subscribe button down below. And last but not least, don't forget to tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you next time.